Welcome back to the time of the Horus Heresy, and welcome back to Isstvan 3 for this 3,000 point battle report between the Sons of Horus and the Death Guard. Northeast of the Precentor's Palace in the Choral City on Isstvan 3, the Death Guard, the Loyalist Death Guard, are dug in, and the traitors are trying to push them out. War of Lies lasts for 6 turns, and the goal in the War of Lies is to kill as much as possible. You get a point for every unit that you destroy. You also get a point for killing the Warlord, and then there are 5 objectives, on the battle grid, and each of these objectives could be worth 0 points, 1 point, or 3 points at the very end of the game. So as the Loyalist Death Guard try and hold down this crossroads, and as the traitor Sons of Horus try and roll them back, which avenue will be the most vital? The one down the middle, this ruin over here, the ruin in the backfield? We just don't know until the game is over. The battle mat is from urbanmats.com. This pre-painted terrain here are all from urbanmats.com, and then there's lots of stuff from my collection, very old, that I've set out to set up this lovely Isstvan 3 table. Thanks for watching this battle report. Don't forget to click, share, comment, subscribe, pray to the machine god, click the notification buttons, all those sorts of things. And if you'd like to support me, then become a channel member. That'd be lovely. Thanks. And thank you to all my channel members who are already channel members. And if you become a tier 3 channel member, you get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. Thank you. And welcome back to the channel, Just Craig. Say hi, Just Craig.
Hi, Just Craig.
You come back with the Sons of Horus.
I have, they're back again.
The first time you haven't brought any name characters.
Correct, yeah, just generic characters.
No Horus.
No Horus.
We're getting down and dirty.
We are.
I mean, Isstvan 3 lasted for a good couple of months, and there was heroes made, and there was heroes. Heroes happened. Is someone going to be a hero today?
We will find out. It's a small part of a big battle, isn't it?
You brought dual praetors.
I have.
Shall we take a look?
Yes.
And this is just another 3,000 points of Sons of Horus with dual praetors with 2 command squads, which means this praetor's unit and this praetor's unit, they both score.
They do.
They both count as line, and Sons of Horus in the first round of combat, I count as -1 strength when I fight you.
Yes.
Merciless fighters, and their once per battle advance reaction is shoot back on 2s.
Yep.
Return fire on a 2. Warlord traits and things. What have you done? Who's your Warlord this time? Because you've got 2 to pick from.
I do. The Warlord this game is going to be the Cataphracti Praetor. His Warlord trait, essentially, when he goes down for the first time, if it's through damage, if he passes the leadership test, he gets back up again.
On D3 wounds.
On D3 wounds.
Really hard to kill. Unless he takes an instant death hit.
Yeah, instant death and things that would remove him without saves and so on. He will still go down.
Okay, and you get reactions in Heresy in the movement phase, shooting phase, and assault phase.
And that Warlord trait allows an additional reaction in the movement phase.
Reactions in the movement phase are lovely.
They are.
Yeah, I really like them.
So about him.
He's running with 5 Justarin.
He's got 5 Justarin, so we've got Kusuran Power Axes and the Bane Strike Combi Bolters.
Right.
So it's an additional strength and additional reaching.
They breach, yeah.
So yeah, that is the Warlord with his retinue. And as the second Praetor, we've got a standard Praetor here with a Paragon Blade, which has been mastercrafted.
Nice.
Bolt Pistol on the other hand, and he has got a unit of 5 command squad as his retinue.
Right.
So as we already said, there's another banner here making them line and therefore scoring. And each of them has got twin lightning claws.
Nice. And they're all hitting on 2s and re-rolling the wound with the lightning claws.
Yep.
Got a rhino for them to run around in?
They are in the rhino as a dedicated transport, yep. Okay. So that is the HQ slot sorted.
Yes.
Moving on to the troops choices for the army, I've got 2 units of 14 tactical squad.
Why 14?
14 because in this game system it's lovely, you can add on an additional infantry model to add points on.
Right then.
So you can get up to your 3,000 point target.
Yeah.
So in one of them we have got the sergeant has got a power sword and then the other is a power fist.
Okay.
Each unit has got a vexilla to stop them running off a table, reduce how far they run.
Yep.
And on top of those 2 as troops, we've got a unit of 10 breachers.
10 breachers.
10 breachers, and these guys have got a Land Raider Proteus as a dedicated transport with all of the lads on it.
Okay. Artificer armor in these squads?
Artificer on these 2 and on the Sky Hunter.
Chain glaives in these squads as well?
Yep. Chain bayonets.
Chain bayonets, I like it. Breachers inside there. They score as well. Flat 5 up. Invulnerable saved and artificer armor. Talking about Sky Hunters, you put Volkite on them.
Yes, yeah, 4 Volkites on them, so additional number of shots on there, a bit of strength, definitely great, so it's going to be quite nice.
20 shots at strength 6, and I think Volkite culverins are like 45-inch range or something.
Yeah, they're a good range, and they're nice and cheap as an upgrade on the unit as well, so they're worthwhile.
Okay.
So, as we've already said, the Sergeant in the squad has got Artificer armour as well.
Yes.
Other than that, they are chainswords and bolt pistols with the Volkite and the bikes.
Nice.
So that's the fast attack choice. So we'll move on to elites at this point. So we've got a Contemptor Dreadnought here with a Contemptor Power Fist and the Laz on the other hand.
Yes.
So nice and simple.
Yes.
And the other elite choices are over here, which is the Rapier Carriers.
Right.
2 separate squads with the Laser Destroyer on each of them. So it's nice high strength, AP1 and Exoshock and things like that. So
Ordnance as well.
Yeah.
2-shot twin link, strength 9, AP1. They're pretty good at taking out vehicles.
Yes, they are.
Talking about things that are pretty good at taking out vehicles, you brought a Kratos.
I brought a Kratos again, so we'll see how it goes this time. So we've got the Kratos Battle Cannon as the main turret weapon and the autocannon on the turret as well. Heavy bolters here, and then on the sponsor mounted, we've got Laz.
Okay.
So a bit of an all-rounder tank this time. Kind of deal with everything that could be thrown at it.
Yep.
You
paid for the different shells?
Yes, I did.
You got all the shells from the cannon, so
yes.
Anti-infantry, the 2-shot strength 8-1 and the 1-shot strength 10-1.
Which I've forgotten the name of. Yeah, it's a 10-point upgrade and it gives it a bit more anti-tank in it as well.
Gives it all the shells for all the things, and then a Leviathan coming out.
We've got a Leviathan, Cyclonic Melter Lance on one side and a Siege Claw on the other. Flamer in the chest in a Dreadnought drop pod.
Brilliant.
And the final unit choice, which is another heavy support squad, is over down here with missile launchers.
It's 5 missile launchers.
5 missile launchers, yeah.
Hanging in the backfield somewhere, shooting out some stuff. So
there's a bit of range on them. Yeah.
You've got quite a bit of punch. You've got 2 command squads. They're very punchy. 2 dreadnoughts. They're really punchy.
They are.
And then lots of firepower to suppress and push the Loyalist Death Guard back. And of course, a Praetor that could potentially not die. Let's go and have a look at the Death Guard. No, 1 minute. No Rite of War.
No Rite of War on this one, no.
See, that's fine, because Rite of Wars do give you benefits, but they also give you negatives as well. And sometimes you just want to play with everything.
The Sons of Horus one isn't particularly good unless you really construct around it. And with the way I built up my Sons of Horus force, I haven't. So
that's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. And this is just below 3,000 points of Death Guard with the Reaping Rite of War, and they are also remorseless. That's their Legion trait. What does all that mean? It means that this army's got quite a few negatives, in fact. It means it can never run. You just walk methodically forward. They can never make any movement phase reactions as well, which is why I'm a bit jealous of the Sons of Horus with 2 movement phase reactions. So no running, no movement phase reactions, but the pluses that you get for that is they count as stationary, so long as they don't get out of a vehicle or anything like that. So they count as stationary all the time, so you get the benefits for counting stationary. They can't be pinned, they're not slowed by terrain, so they're always moving 7 or 6, depending on how fast the unit goes. But yeah, they just slog relentlessly forward, unslowed, unpinned, anything by terrain. And you can take heavy support in the troop slot. So I've got 2 units of plasma cannons, heavy support dudes, and a unit of 10 multi-melters, which will be inside a Rhino. When they get out of the Rhino, they do count as moving, they don't count as stationary. So the first turn, we're going to be snap firing away with the multi-melters, but the Rhino will help position me somewhere where I need to be. And in all the squads of infantry that you see, there is Artificer armor, and then in every squad except for the squad of breachers with bolt guns down here, all the other squads as well as Artificer armor have Nuncio Voxes and something else. Oh yeah, rag grenades. What does all that mean? Well, Artificer armor helps keep me safe. Nuncio Voxes allow me to re-roll scatters because there's quite a lot of blast coming in here. And rad grenades mean in the first round of combat, the Sons of Horus will lose a toughness. All these models and the bases are gloriously painted to level 4 standard by Den of Imagination Painting Studio. Thank you very much, Den. And leading the charge is a Praetor with a Paragon Blade and a Volkite Charger. And he's going to be hanging around with this Chaplain and joining a squad of 10 Grave Warden. Grave Warden Terminators are shooty Terminators from the heavy slot. So the weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4. But they have a natural 6-up shrouded all the time. They've got power fists everywhere. And they can fire out quite a lot of poisoned firepower, wounding everything on a 3 all the time. Their job is just to slog forward with the Praetor, with the Chaplain, firing out and firing out and firing out until eventually they get in close combat and punch stuff with their power fists. The shrouding should help keep them safe. And my Warlord trait is Stoic Defender. So my Warlord's unit, so the unit of Grave Warden Terminators, will count as pinning. And he also gets 2 reactions in the shooting phase because I can't react to the movement phase. 2 units of Volkite Chargers, which are assault weapons, 2 shots at 15-inch range, 1 shot of breaches in the backfield, 2 Leviathan Dreadnoughts with Cyclonic Melter Lancers. And the flamers that they have here, these aren't heavy flamers, these are heavy Alchem flamers. They poison on a 2-up. And I'll put the Phosphex launchers on top. Look, everything's magnetized, it's 10. So we've got some Phosphex, which is some blast. We've got 2 Scorpius tanks in the backfield, which is blast. And if they stay still, and Death Guard always count as stationary, well, they rend on a 4-up and pin. So they blast in as well. The plasma shooting out, they blast in as well. That's why I've got Nuncio boxes everywhere to reroll the scatters. And then over here, a unit of Rapier Carriers with frag grenades, and they blast as well. The frag rounds, they're only strength 5, but they shred. They're large blast. They're pretty good at suppressing stuff. The downside for this particular list, apart from the fact that I can't make any movement phase reactions, is I've only got 3 units of scoring stuff, as opposed to the 5 units of scoring stuff that the Sons of Horus have. But we're playing War of Lies. Any objectives that we might have at the end of the game might be worth 0 points. And a couple of times when I played War of Lies, there's only 1 scoring unit left each per side, and sometimes it comes down to that last clutch dice roll in game turn 6. Anyway, a relentless, remorseless march of glorious Death Guard loyalists trying to withstand the pressure of the traitorous Sons of Horus and just laying down hate, hopefully rolling over the traitors. Let's go on to deployment. The air is full of fire, and smoke fills the distant horizon. Dust, grit and pain echo across the battle grid as we're deployed for this War of Lies. I've put 1 unit of breaches in reserve. The idea is that they walk on and take this objective down here, which might be worth no points. And a big push up the middle of the battle grid. The Praetor, the Chaplain, the Grave Warden Terminators and the Leviathan there with the Scorpiuses firing back and firing over, hidden down away from the line of sight. And the Death Guard got to deploy first onto this battle grid, which means they are going first as well. The Plasma Squad have a good field of fire over here, and the Rapiers are down here facing them. Opposite the Rapiers is a big squad of Tactical Marines holding down onto this objective, and Just Craig has put a unit of breaches in reserve.
I have. Hopefully walk on, hold an objective as we tacticals leave that one.
This piece of terrain up here was just too good, right? You put Rapiers and missile launchers up there. I feel like these 2 squads are going to be firing across the top of these ruins at each other for the first couple of turns. There was quite a little tweak in the list. You decided to make the dedicated transport Land Raider for the Justarian rather than the breaches.
Yes, rather than walking up slowly at the table and just walking towards each other, give them a bit of survivability and get them up the table a bit quicker to start dealing with problems.
It just makes sense.
It does.
Putting your biggest, nastiest unit inside a Land Raider just makes sense. With the Kratos nearby, which has got a flare shield, by the way, so that's 15 on the front, 14 all round. There's the other Rapier. The second command squad is in the Rhino down there with all the power claws, and yeah.
Got plans on plans on plans.
Now, I deployed first. I should be going first unless you steal the initiative, and I'll have you know, Just Craig, that stealing is illegal.
It would be a horrible thing to do to somebody, wouldn't it?
It would be traitorous.
Hmm.
Do you want to try and... Yeah,
okay,
right, yeah, okay.
No.
And you don't steal the initiative. It is Death Guard. Turn 1. Traitorous? Traitorous. It's a word now. Here we are at the end of turn 1 for the Death Guard. I march relentlessly forward. Of course, the Plasma can also walk forward, count as stationary. The unit that was inside the dedicated transport, the multi-melters, have got out. And the unit of charges that were next to it, the breaches with the Volkite charges, have got in it. Multi-melters are out of range this turn. All I've got in range is some of the discs, some of the plasma, and the Scorpius barrage, which will drop in turn 1. So I said at start, we're going to be firing along the battlements to try and clear away some of these heavy guns with some of the plasma. We're going to be dropping lots of plasma stuff on top of the missile launchers, okay?
Okay.
Would you like to react anyway?
Let's do a shroud.
You're going to shroud?
Yep.
You're going to shroud here already? Here is the gets hot roll on my artificer guy. Here are the gets hot rolls on the other guys. And then I need a 3-up save. We don't get hot. Firing discs, the first one landing there, hopefully. It does land there. I'll do the other 4 off camera. In the end, 16 hits come through. At strength 7, I wound on 2s and 4's breach. Right then, so an armor save.
So 3 up.
And then ruin saves. Yeah, 3 up. You're okay. And then 5 up because of all the ruins around you. I mean, that was good breaching text. And then, yeah, 5 up for all the shrouding saves. And in the end, the squad gets wiped out. First blood. Now, the second unit of plasmas. Are we going to do the same thing? You got some troops over. No, we're going to do the same thing. There's a rapier battery. Don't like the look of it. Gets hot on the artificer. Gets hot on the other stuff. Does my sergeant die? No. Rolling to hit with a first shot. And I can re-roll that because they can see them in Nuncio Foxes. And that's a hit. After scattering all over the place, this time I do 9 hits. These again on 2s. 4's breach. Here's the 3 ups. And the rapier carrier takes a wound. And then 5 ups. And the unit get wiped out. Well, that worked.
That did.
They're expensive squads.
Yeah.
With the Nuncio Voxes and Artificer armor in there, 170 points each for 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we've cleared along the top of the battlements up there. Now we're coming to the Scorpiuses, the Scorpii, We're going to fire up and over. Try and hit these bikes and make them fall back off the table. Placing the marker there, a direct hit will tag 3 of them and the Rhino, but I have no line of sight anywhere with any units. 1 minute, plasmas. Oh, we can see. I have line of sight. So it will scatter full distance if I miss. I don't miss because the unit can't see. And then if it does scatter, then I could re-roll a scatter, but that hits. Right, 2 hits on the Rhino at strength 8. Now it's a barrage, so it counts as coming from the top. That one pens, so you don't get cover, and it just shakes the Rhino. So it's snap firing next turn, loses a hull point, but it can continue to move. 3 hits on your bikers. Now I'm really looking for 4s here, because 4s rend at strength 8 and will insta-kill. Hopefully I get a lot of 4s. I get 2 4s. That will kill 2 bikes. And these will force saves of 3 up. Or you could tank them on Artificer if you want to, or 2 up, but each failed save will instant death because it is strength 8.
Will Artificer.
Will Artificer away. That's what you paid it for. He's good. He's still good. He's still good. He's still good. So you only lose 2 bikes. Rocket barrage causes pinning, but bikes cannot be pinned. And that's it for the shooting, except for 2 more barrages. Oh yes, there's more. We've got rapier batteries over here at 60-inch range. And you think you're safe on this objective over here, do you?
I don't think they're going to be holding it at the end of the game.
Dropping it down here, put it on this side because I can see this guy. And that'll hit, because ballistic skill -4, you take it off of that, that's a hit. And this is a reroll, because we have sight on him, and that's a hit. Fragmentation rounds explode amid the tactical squads 10 times, but these only wound on 3s. They do have shred though, so you can reroll. And everything wounds. No AP, no pinning, nothing, just piling on the wounds. 3 up saves, and a 6 up feel no pain. Because the heart of the Legion, you're in range of an objective. And in the end, 4 of them get nuked. And that is the end of the Death Guard's shooting phase. And that is the end of the Death Guard's shooting phase. That is the end of turn 1. But there is a couple of morale tests to take. Bikers. Leadership 8. And they hold. And the tactical squad in the ruin over there. And they hold as well. As we go into Sons of Horus, turn 1. Up above, you can see the contrails of a Dreadnought drop pod loaded with the Leviathan streaking down towards this battle grid. But in the meantime, the Sons of Horus move forward to counterattack the Death Guard assault. The Bikers and the Rhino moving around this way. The Bikers with their Volkite have some shots into my Grave Warden in the middle of the battle grid. And over here, the Sons of Horus mean to make a first turn charge. The command squad with the Praetor has disembarked the Land Raider, looking at those Grave Wardens, and then all the other guns appear to be lining up one of the Leviathans. Meanwhile, over here, the squad that got shelled, they've moved forward and they can draw line of sight to 2 in the plasma squad up here, because in Heresy, you can only pull away models that you can see in range and line of sight. So we're going to start here with 10 bolter rounds firing up at my plasma team who are not reacting. And they hit on 3s. Daka, daka, daka. Force to wound. 4 wounds. None of these hit the sergeant, so all 3 up saves and you kill one of them. Next, we're moving on to the big guns. The Kratos doesn't have power of the machine spirit. It's targeting the Leviathan here, everything. But that Sponsoon can't see the Leviathan. Nope. So that's actually coming in to the Grave Ward Terminators, and I'm not reacting to this either. Okay, so the main turret of the Flashburn Shell is 1 shot. Yep. Hitting on 3s. And hits. That hits. Strength 10. Wounds on a 2. Wounds. Wounds. 5 up, invulnerable save. I failed the save. Cannon of the Laz variety. Hits. Strength 9, freeze. Wounds. Another 5 up save. I make that one. Auto cannon coming in hot. It's freeze. One hit. Needs 5 to wound though. Doesn't wound. There's 2 heavy bolters on there. There is, yep. Hits all the times. Well, hits 3 of the times. Needs 6s though to wound. There is a wound. I do get a 2 up save to that, which I make. Then finally it's the second Las cannon hitting the Grave Wardens on a 3 and wounding them on a 2. And it wounds. I need a 4 up Cataphractii save against this. And they have a 6 up Shrouded naturally, which I make. Nice. Next to the Kratos, the Rapier Laser Destroyer also firing at the Leviathan. It's going to be hitting on 3s, but its shots are twin-linked. Rapid fire laser weaponry here, wounding on 3s as well. Both of them wound. 2 more 5 up automatic shielding saves. And a fail 1. The Leviathan's down to 5 wounds remaining. Leviathan's going to continue to get lit up by the Gravis Las from the Contemptor. This hits on 2s. One of them hits. It wounds on a 3. Doesn't wound this time. The Leviathan's on 5 wounds remaining. You're firing everything from this tank into it as well. I feel like I've got 2 reactions in the shooting phase. I feel like they're going to take some shots, but you're running out of gun. Mm-hmm. And I can return fire. It can't I might as well return fire. Probably not going to hurt you, but I'm going to return fire. Anyway, 4 non-twin link Las coming into Leviathan. 2 of those hit. And neither of them wounds. And then the twin link Las in the nose hits on a 3, it's 1 shot, and wounds on a 3. But that does wound. And I fail the save, and the Leviathan's down to 4 wounds remaining. Then it returns fire with a Cyclonic Melter Lance, and I need 6s. And I get a 6. There is cover in the way though, 6 up save. You failed it, and that is just the whole point. A lot of gun. Leviathan's still on 4 wounds. They're tough to remove. Not as effective as you was hoping. No. I think that's all the guns that are going to hit the Leviathan. That's everything it can do, yes. The thing is, do you actually want to shoot the Grave Wardens? Because the return fire that can come out of them could be quite brutal. So you are going to shoot at them, but with the Volkite from the Bikers. I'm not going to shroud this because I'm waiting to return fire over here. And essentially, if you don't shoot at them because they're going to return fire and they're going to overwatch you, then I'm happy that you're not shooting at them. I'm happy to waste one of my reactions not reacting. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I get it. Right, 10 shots with the Volkites. Hitting on 3s. Yes. Wounding on 2s. And it has Deflagrate. So 4 2 up saves with a 6 up shrouding. I take a wound, Deflagrate, it continues to burn just on the 2. Yeah. It doesn't continue to burn. That is the end of the shooting phase. We're on to the charge phase. The Just Terran do want to come charging in to the Grave Wardens. I'm out of Overwatch range with the Death Cloud projectors, but I will Overwatch with all the grenade launchers. Here's the assault grenade launchers with toxin rounds on 3s. That wasn't great. 3s to wound though, poison 3 up. A chunk of 2 up saves. It would cause pinning, but you don't take morale tests to Overwatch to reaction. So I kill one of the Just Terran. Yep. And then you need to make a 9-inch charge. Good luck. And that's a 7. So instead, the Justeran Elite surge forward a few inches right into the crossroads, right into the Valley of Death. As we go into Death Guard turn 2. I've got to check for my reserves. Do my unit of breaches come on a 3? I don't want them on. They come on. The Death Guard continue their relentless march up the table. Some reactions in the middle after the Grave Wardens move forward to make the Justeran take a couple of steps back, so a potential failed charge rather than an automatic success, and the Land Raider pulled back as well to get out of armor bane range of this Leviathan here. Now if this works, I should be able to clear away the Justeran in the middle of the table, maybe hurt that Contemptor too, maybe even hurt the Rapier, and begin to continue to push down, whereas my flanks are looking a bit weaker, considering as well that there is a Leviathan Dreadnought in a drop pod that could just drop in here or over here. I didn't want it right behind my lines, which is why the unit that walked on is spread out a little bit, looking up above, wondering where that pod is going to come smashing.
Where it's coming down.
Yes, exactly. And then the plasma team, well, they just shuffle along because they've got a good field of fire as we start the shooting phase. 4 of the plasma team are going to plunge fire down into these traitors below them. Not reacting, here's the Gets Hot on the Artificer and the Gets Hot on the other guys. And they're okay. And I don't know why I rolled 5 dice because there's only 4 left in that squad. Dropping templates, dropping it like it's hot. The first one scatters 2. I won't re-roll that, I'll keep it. The second one hits. We kept rolling the scatter. 14 hits came in on the end, winning on 2s, force breach. 3 up saves on this lot. You're still in range of that objective for your 6 up save though. Your 6 up shrug, Heart of the Legion. Then 5 up saves for this lot. That's pretty good. With a 6 up feel no pain. You haven't made any of these yet.
Still haven't.
Still haven't. That's 7 dead in total. That leaves 3 left in that squad. Then we're coming across to the next team of plasma that want to fire at the bikes over here, but they're out of range. So we're going to fire at the Rapier battery instead. Did all the rolls off camera. Nothing got hot, but only 8 hits came through. Then here are the 3 up saves. And here are the 5 up saves that breach. And that's enough to clear the squad. So we're going to go on to Leviathan Dreadnought number 1 with 4 Cyclonic Melter Lance shots going into the Contemptor. Not reacting, I need 2s to hit and 3s to wound. Only 1 wound.
5 up. Nope.
Takes a wound. First wound off the Contemptor. 5 to get through. And the second Leviathan will also shoot at that because the Land Raider reversed. And again, 3 of them hit. 2 of them wound this time, so 2 5 up saves. And the Contemptor is down to 4 wounds remaining, taking 2 full-on fusillades from Leviathan and only taking 2 wounds there. It's pretty strong. Okay, now we're on to the Grave Ward Terminators, which pin when they fire, are firing everything down at your Justeran. And you're reacting to this?
I am reacting, I'm returning fire.
Nice. Well, first up, the front rank of Justeran all have these Death Cloud projectors. They all have the Death Cloud projectors, but you can't put it across your own model. Mm-hmm. So the front rank are going to fire all of them, and they wound on 3s. And then I have all the grenade launchers, which also wound on 3s. Here's all the grenade launchers, hitting on 3s. Poisoned on 3s. For this number of wounds so far, and then the auto-hitting templates, they wound on 3s as well. And add into the wound pool. So a lot of 2 up saves from the Justeran. I see 3 1s. So you lose 1 and a bit. And then you return fire. Here's the Bane Strike Combi Bolters on the Justeran, hitting on 2s. And a reroll. It is twin linked. And strength 5, wounds on 3s, but 6s breach. So a 4 up save and 2 up saves, and then a 6 up shrouding. So the injured guy dies, and you've got a...
Standard combi bolter on the Praetor.
Okay.
So 2s.
He hits both of the times.
4s. Hits once.
And I'm good.
Yep.
So we lose 1 guy each, and directly behind my Terminators are 10 multi-melters, which could fire in at your Justeran, but I'm not going to shoot at them. Mm-hmm. Because I think I've got this in close combat. Mm-hmm. I outnumber you 2 to 1 now. So I'm going to try and glance that Land Raider to death. And multi-melters hit on 3s, but they're twin linked in the Horus Heresy, so you get to re-roll all hits, and that is only 7 hits through. I need 6s to glance. The multi-melters do nothing. So that's it for the shooting phase, except for the barrages of doom. We've got the Scorpiuses, those over here, and down here the 2 rapiers. And this unit have been taking an absolute pounding. There's only 3 of them left. And I feel like it would be rude not to continue shooting at them. Template hopefully coming in here. And it comes in here. And the second shot. Oh yeah, we hit. 3s to wound with the reroll for shred is 5 wounds. Tanking on the Artificer. Now's the time. He's alive. See, he paid for himself.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive. Fire from the skies, and the sergeant says, "Dark lads." He saw all the rounds coming in. While the rapiers suppress the right flank, we're going to come to the Scorpiuses, and they're going to fire up and over and try and suppress this flank as well. But no re-rolling this, and full scatter is in effect. So that's going that way 4. That only catches 2, and the second shot hits and catches a lot more. 12 hits. Come through. Wound on 2s. 3 up saves on this lot. And 2 of them get nuked. And these are 5 up saves because they rend. Only 3 die in the end. But they do take a pinning test from a rocket barrage, leadership 8. And they're not pinned. With the rapier wipes out, a couple in this unit getting lit up, and the contemptor getting hurt. That is the end of my shooting phase. This unit over here has a leadership test to make at leadership 8. And they fail and they will fall back. There's a Vexilla in that squad, so they're only going to fall back 1d6 inches. But who can blame them? They've been reduced from 14 men down to 3. In the middle as well, no leadership test to make, but the Grave Wardens want to try and make a charge into those Just Terran Terminators. And you can react. Are you overwatching or are you bracing for impact? The Praetor and the Just Terran chose to overwatch, no wounds caused, and now the Grave Wardens need a 3-inch charge, and they make the charge. Crump the Death Guard, get in there, then we fight initiative. Your axes are not unwieldy.
No, they're not, so they're going to be initiative 4.
But my Praetor and my Chaplain are as initiative 5, because your Praetor's initiative 1, because he's got that chain fist. So we start off with a Chaplain with a Power Sword and the charge. He'll be hitting on 4s against some Just Terran Terminators. He hits every time, and he's going to be wounding on 4s, but I'm really looking for 6s because 6s are rend. So 1 2 up, 1 4 up.
Up.
Yep.
4 up.
You're okay. And then we're on to my Praetor. He's going to actually hit you on 3s with the reroll because of Chaplain. And this is a Paragon weapon, so it wounds on 3s, and 6s are instant death. 2 instant death saves. He kills 2 of them. And then the 4 up invulnerable save on the last one. 1 takes a wound. Then they can fight back. You've got an axe with 3 attacks on 3s. And this wounds on 3s, but 5's breach. Okay, so there's a breaching blow that comes through. And I fail that save and take a wound. And now we're at initiative 1. We can start with the Praetor, see if he kills any. He hits on 3s. Big chain thing. He hits 3 times. Wounds on 2s. He wounds twice. 4 up Cataphractii, invulnerable saves, or death. I make the saves. Then here are all the Power Fists from the Grave Wardens, but I'm hitting Just Terran on 5s. Re-rolling, because the Chaplain's screaming at him. And Power Fist wound on 2s. But interestingly, they're not instant death, because -1 strength in the first round of combat against Sons of Horus, but you still need to make a lot of 4 up saves. Good luck. Each one doing a wound. Okay, so the Just Terran guy's got 2. That actually is enough. Perfectly enough to slay the Warlord. Your Warlord has the Armour of Pride. So he needs to pass a leadership test. Leadership 10. He passes, and he stands back up on D3 wounds remaining. For 1 wound remaining. And that is the end of Death Guard. Turn 2. In the Sons of Horus movement phase, both of their reserve units come in, while this unit down here continues to fall back. The breachers staying underneath the ruins here. The tactical squad are screaming at them, saying there's artillery. There's artillery. And hiding as much as you can from all the plasma shots that rain down this way, and I can see 3 of them. And I can't move further. There's no more terrain to move along to get some decent shots in at the Breacher squad. Then the second unit came in, and with internal guidance system, well, it hit anyway. You're in here with a Leviathan Dreadnought, which has got rear shots into my Scorpius tanks. I don't think they're going to be long for this world. And the Leviathan is backed up by the second Praetor and his command squad, which is staying inside the Rhino for now. Looking at this objective over here, then in the middle of the table, we checked and checked and checked and checked. Like, does he get back up in close combat?
Yes, he does,
He
unfortunately.
does. So you're locked up in close combat with the Grave Warden Terminators, which should kill him this turn and then move forward, and you didn't want the Land Raider to be there. And you don't want to lose any more of your tactical marines.
No, Fire from the Skies is definitely taking its toll on my infantry.
The Death Guard raining hate from the sky. So the Land Raider didn't get immobilized, went back there, and the squad that got lit up ran and got inside of it.
So 11 tacticals in the Proteus now.
Yeah. You're a long way from any of the melter shots that could come into it. So they're going to be fairly safe for a good couple of turns. This is a 6-turn game, though. And there is an objective right here. Meanwhile, the Kratos stays still. I don't think you pivoted it because you were thinking about lighting up the multi-melters.
Yep.
So that other sponson needs to look this way as we go on to the shooting phase. Thank you. So we're going to start off with the Kratos firing at the melter team, and I'm going to shroud. And an HE shell is being aimed here. And it hits. All 10 are hit and wounded on 2s. It's strength 8. AP4, 9 of them wounded. Still a lot more shots coming in, but let's start tanking these on Artificer armor because I paid for it and they're dead otherwise. This also causes pinning. So my sergeant is screaming, get down, get behind, and now he's dead. Now he's dead. So the sergeant is dead, plus 5 more 3-ups. So 4 are dead in total. 2 last shots come in hot. Both of them hit, and these are wound on 2s. Both of them wound, and these are 6-up intervening model saves. Actually, I just remembered the shrouding as well.
Yes.
Shrouding on the Sarge, no. And then the other guys. Okay. Then the saves for the Laz for the cover. And then the shroud. So 5 are dead in total so far. Here's the heavy bolters. 3s to hit. Daka. The Kratos has got so many guns. 3s to wound. But only 2 of those come through. 3s, and then a shroud. 6 are dead. Cannon of the auto variety.
3s to hit. 1 hit. 2s.
Wounds. Here's a 3, and I make the save. 6 of them die, including the Sarge. Only 4 remaining. Would normally have to take a pinning test to that, but we don't get pinned. We are Death Guard. So the 4 remaining multi-melters are getting lit up by the 2 Sky Hunters over here with the Volkite.
So 10 shots, hitting on 3s.
And only 4 hit.
Strength 6.
2s to wound. And only 2 wound. And I make the saves. Moving down the line, there's a Contemptor that wants to charge a Leviathan. I've shrouded. Do I return fire? I'm going to return fire on this.
Okay.
But you got a Laz cannon and a multi-melter at point blank range. Here's the Laz. Both of them hit. 3s to wound.
1 wound.
One of them wounds. I make the save, and then the melter in the fist hits. Wounds on a 4. Oh yeah, armor bane range. Does wound. I make that save as well. And I'm shooting back at you. There's a melter in the fist, plus the 5 on his thing. He hits on 2s. And it's strength 8 versus toughness 7, wounding on 3s for 3 wounds into your Contemptor Dreadnought. He's got 4 remaining. And now he's got 1 wound remaining. And because I returned fire here, I've used both of my shooting phase reactions, so I can't react to 5 shots from melter fire into my Scorpius tanks. The Leviathans hit on 2s. Everything hits, and it's all armor bane, so 2d6 on the first one. It's rear armor 10. That's definitely a pen. Second one.
2.
Glances.
3.
Then pens.
4.
Pens.
5.
Pens. Right, 4 penetrating hits. 1 glancing hit. You've got to roll these penetrating hits one at a time because on a 5 you detonate the tank. And not yet. Not yet. Boom, the tank blows up, and then a 5 on the next one. No. So that is a weapon destroyed on the second one, plus a glancing hit. Which means one of them gets ripped in half. The big gun on top of the other Scorpus gets ripped up. It's a Rhino with a turret on now. That's all it is. And there is still a Leviathan that could go charging in. And we're not out of the shooting phase yet. Because even though this Land Raider moved 12, it can fire one of its shots at full ballistic skill. And I think you were talking about firing up at some plasma teams.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to snap fire with a couple, but full ballistic skill with that one. And that one, you can still see.
Yep.
Still a thing.
So freeze.
One of them hits. And then and that wounds. And then 2 shots hitting on 6s with the snap fire. Negative. And then the twin link one hitting on a 6 in the snout. Doesn't hit.
That was one shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 1 hit comes through on a 5 for the save, no save. And that is the end of the shooting phase for the Sons of Horus, doing a lot more damage this turn. I've got a leadership test for these plasma, even though I lose 1. That is 25% casualties. Leadership 8, they're breaking. They're falling back 3 inches, and a leadership 7 on the melter team because the sergeant's dead. And they break as well and fall back 5 inches. So at the end of the turn 2 shooting phase, the Sons of Horus has definitely managed to suppress some of the Death Guard shooting. These guys aren't going to be firing back. The multi-melters are falling. They're not going to be firing back. And the big turrets on the Scorpius tanks, well, they're gone. You can't charge on the turn that you disembark from a vehicle in the round in which the vehicle comes in from the assault. So the Leviathan isn't charging in this turn. Now, do you want to charge a Contemptor on 1 wound left into a Leviathan?
If I don't, it's just being removed later. So yeah, let's go for it.
Well, I am going to overwatch you.
Yeah.
I have to overwatch you on 2s and then 3s for only 2 wounds.
But to keep him alive.
Oh, yeah.
He's alive.
He's a hero. Can he make a charge, though?
Let's
It
use
looks
his
like a
dice.
5 or 6 to me.
Come on, dice.
And that's an 8. He goes storming in there, and we're going to have Contemptor on Leviathan action. And we might as well start there because you're initiative 4. I'm initiative 4. Shall we see if you can kill it?
Let's do it.
You've got 4 attacks with your massive Fist of Doom, and you're going to be hitting on 4s. And I've got 4 back.
4s.
And you
3
hit
hits.
3 times. Okay, strength 9, toughness 8. 3s to wound.
3s, yeah. 2 wounds. Brutal 3.
That's 6 damage. 6 5-up saves. He's got 2 left. 4 left. He's got 4 left. Now he hasn't got any left. That's a dead Leviathan Latedra. Well, I'm going to punch you back.
Yes.
Then we'll do all the explosions and things. I've got 4 attacks. I hit you on 4s. Mutually assured destruction is normally a thing. And the strength of my fist is stronger than your fist. I'm wounding on 2s. And that is 9 wounds on your Contemptor Dreadnought because it's brutal 3. So just, yeah, he's got a 5-up.
6.
Can he make 9 5-ups? Can he make 9 5-ups? I've seen it before.
No.
But not today.
No.
And they both blow
They both
up.
blow.
The explosions, well, we'll roll for it off camera and see what we hit. 1 Leviathan each now. 1 Dreadnought left on the table on each side. The second fight that we go down to is down in the middle with the Grave Wardens, and my Praetor will strike first with his Paragon weapon at initiative 5, and he hits 3 times. He'll wound on 3s. And he doesn't wound. So my Chaplain at initiative 5, he's got a mastercrafted power sword, but he needs 5s to wound, but it is mastercrafted, 5s to hit, sorry. He gets 1 hit through. 4 to wound, a 5 will rend. 6 will rend, sorry. He doesn't wound. So we're down to initiative 1.
We are.
We'll do your Praetor again. He might be able to kill a couple more Grave Warden Terminators with his big chain fist. He's going to hit them on 3s with 4 attacks. He hits twice. His arm is getting tired. 2s to wound. He wounds 2 of them. Does he kill any? He doesn't kill any. And then the Grave Wardens fight back. No re-rolls and no extra dice for the charge this time. It's 5s to hit him. I hit him 5 times.
And no minus 1 strength for this battle round.
And wound him. Well, 6 times it turns out. A lot of invulnerable saves.
Yeah. Failed 1. Failed 1.
And 1 is enough to slay the Warlord. Again. The Grave Warden Terminators consolidate, continue their relentless march down towards the battle grid as we go on to Death Guard turn 3. At the start of turn 3, we'll get there in a minute, but I'll do it on camera now. I've got to regroup this unit of multi-motors on a 7. They regroup. I've got to regroup the plasma guys in the thing on an 8. They regroup. My left flank is looking really weak, and I'm looking a bit strung out. So I've got to go away and think now as we go into Death Guard turn 3. In the Death Guard movement phase, it immediately became apparent that I didn't have anything down in this corner of the battle grid to deal with the Leviathan Dreadnought because you nuked the multi-melter squad. So it's Operation Get Away from the Leviathan Dreadnought. There's also a command squad with a Praetor there. So the Rhino full of the guys with Volkite charges didn't get immobilized, went that way. And so did the immobilized, so did this thing, the Scorpius without the turret on. Because you get a point for everything you kill.
Yeah.
So let's just get out of there.
It's limping away, but it's another point I'm not getting.
And this is the furthest I am down this side of the battle grid with the Death Guard. The Loyalists are retreating to the ruins in the distance to get away from the Leviathan Dreadnought and the command squad. Now, in order to help protect me, this goes on to 6 turns, so it's turn 3, then turn 4, then turn 5, then turn 6. The Leviathan, which was going up the table, was turned round this way because my Leviathan is about the only thing that could stop your Leviathan on a rampage. And I don't want it to die. The only way I can keep it alive from not dying is charge forward with the Grave Warden Terminators into your Kratos and hopefully glance it to death, and then my Grave Wardens are completely out of position for most of the rest of the game. But that's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Otherwise the Kratos could kill the Leviathan, or in fact the Land Raider. And I need some of my scoring units alive. Unit of Volkite charges here, as well as in the Rhino, because there's an objective. Where is it? It's here. There's an objective in this crater. I like the fact that the road, there's one there, one here, one there. The road down the centre of the battle grid is very important. Or is it? Because it's a war of lies. I could be on all the objectives at the end of the game and get nothing, and you could be on 1 and get 3.
Fingers crossed.
It's yeah. So we are shifting that way. Here's the multi-melter team that regrouped. Here is the plasma team that are regrouped, but you can only snap fire and you can't snap fire blasts. And the second plasma team move forward. I can see a couple of the breachers, but I want to kill this unit here.
That's another point.
The 3rd time in a row, let's fire some discs down from the plasma. And we rolled off camera because I had the arrogance of a man who thought that they would all get wiped out and I didn't need to show you the dice rolls, but it turned out I should have showed you the dice rolls because the sergeant's left standing. He is still there. Right, we have some more shots. The Grave Wardens want to charge the Kratos. They can't hurt it in shooting, and you have to shoot what you charge, so they can't shoot anything else. Everything else back here is out of line of sight and range. So the only thing left to fire is the 2 rapier batteries. And I'm going to fire up and over the bikes, even though they have 2 wounds, and the max I can hit is 4, because the range and these have been a problem for me. And the first shot hits, and the second shot scatters out of the way. So I need 3s to wound. They both wound. 2 3-up saves, unless you want to tank an artificer.
For 1 damage each.
Yeah, 1 damage each, you're fine. And you're fine.
Yep.
And that is the end of my shooting phase. That is the end of my turn 3, except for a ridiculous charge from the Grave Wardens into the Kratos. How far did I go?
7.
7 isn't enough. Grave Warden continue to charge down the crossroads, surging forwards. That is the end of Death Guard turn 3. The first couple of turns against the Loyalists was absolutely brutal, but that one, not so much. But I am moving, repositioning, thinking about the win conditions here and thinking about the terrible, terrible pain that the Sons of Horus can bring with a couple of units over here as we go on to Sons of Horus turn 3. Here we are after the Sons of Horus movement phase. The sergeant tested to regroup and he's regrouped and standing on that objective, shouting up at the plasma team, shouting defiance. Meanwhile, over his shoulder, he's telling the breacher team to take cover and they've pressed themselves, now they can move a bit further, all the way under the gantry. And when we look down from my plasma team, I don't have any line of sight on the breachers whatsoever. In the middle, the Kratos didn't get immobilized, trying to just stay a bit further away from the Grave Warden Terminators, as is the Land Raider, full of tactical Marines. That didn't get immobilized either. Bike staying back, and then down here, your command squad has got out.
They have. The Rhinos went the full distance and it's deployed the command squad.
Yeah, they can't charge on the turn they get out of a Rhino because it's not an assault vehicle, and they are a bit close to a Leviathan, but these big crates are impassable. I'm going to have to go round there, and they do score. They are one of your scoring units. You've got 1, 2, 3 left, and the Sergeant, who isn't going to be here for very long, but you've still got quite a few scoring units left, and of course the Leviathan is running up to get some rear shots in. 5 shots on 2s, all the melters are in range, and then 2s to glance it to death. And there's 3 penetrating hits, no cover, so roll 3 dice and see if you get any 5s to blow it up. And it doesn't blow up. The remainder of the Scorpius squadron just becomes a smoking ruin. Next to the Scorpius, there's still 4 multi-melters hanging in here, and they're going to get lit up by the bikers one more time. This time I'm going to shroud them. I'd rather they stayed alive.
Yeah. Hitting on 3s.
That's pretty good shooting.
And then winning on 2s.
Is a couple of multi-motors left alive when your Leviathan comes in, you see. Maybe. 6 threat saves, no sergeant in that squad, and then the shrouding roll, and only lose a wound.
I remember to deflagrate.
Yep.
So it's another one.
Another one. 3 up. I lose, shroud. I lose 2. There's 2 left. Talking about killing big guns, we've got the Land Raider that moved at combat speed this time, so it can fire all of its big guns up at the plasma, and they're going to shroud as well.
1 twin linked.
Yes.
Fails, we roll in. Fails.
Okay.
And then 4 non-twin linked.
So we have 3 hits into the plasma.
2s to wound.
We have
3
3 wounds into the plasma. 5 up ruin save.
Nice.
Didn't even need to shroud.
No.
Then the twin link bolter from the Rhino fired in at my 2 melters over here. Here are my saving throws. You clear away the melter squad. And then the last thing left to fire is the Kratos firing everything at the Grave Wardens. Big HE shell one more time because this will double them out. And you get the hit. Wounds on 2s.
Wounded on 2s.
Everything wounds. Alright, 2 up save, then a 6 up shroud. Or I lose, guys. There's a failed one. Shroud. You nuke one of them. Bolt of fire.
8 shots. 8 on 3s. 20 on 4s.
3s to wound. 2 wounds. It's
just
5, isn't it? I'm okay. Laz?
Laz.
Laz.
3s.
1 hit.
2s. Wounds.
Another wound. 4 up and run. I make the save. And then we got the auto cannon.
Cannon. 1. 7. Wounds.
Fail that save, 6 up and run, 6 up shrouding, and I make that, and in the end the Kratos only takes down 1 of the Grave Wardens. And that is the end of the shooting phase, and I don't have any morale tests to take because you actually managed to nuke away the Melter squad down here, and I don't think there's any charges either. Yes, there's no charging, no eligible target, so that's the end of turn 3. We have the Sons of Horus pushing hard along this flank, and the Death Guard pushing deeper into the Reliquary in the backfield to try and get closer to the Precentor's Palace as we go into Death Guard turn 4. In turn 4, the Grave Wardens are going straight for the Kratos. Over here, the Leviathan is coming around to deal with your Leviathan or command squad at some point, but you can only charge what you can see, and I can't actually see anything right now, so he just sat there for a turn. And then I've got troops, and troops heading this way towards the Precentor's Palace because there's an objective here, there's an objective here, and there's an objective there, and I've got 2 turns to get on all of them. Then in the shooting phase, the only thing that the Plasma Squad can see and actually hurt was the Sergeant on this objective, so we rolled it off camera, he's gone.
It took a lot, but he got there.
He got there. We got rid of him. That is the end of my shooting phase. That is it. Just killing 1 Sergeant, and now the Grave Wardens are going to charge the Kratos. And they get 5, which is enough.
I may as well
make me disordered.
Disorder you.
Vehicles can't make charges disorder because they don't have the leadership test thing, but they can overwatch with defensive weapons, and you put 1 wound on the Grave Warden Terminators. Now we fight. I hit on 2s. With the Chaplain reroll, everything hits. Now only 6s can hurt that Kratos, and I need 5 6s to kill it. And I get 4. It's got 1 wound left. In the Sons of Horus movement phase, the command squad here, you're originally thinking about coming around and trying to charge some of my chaff over here, but with the barricade in the way, it would have been a 10 or 11 inch charge. And to be honest, They've achieved their objective. The fact that you've put a command squad down here is the reason why none of my troops are here. They've all left. They all went away. That and the Leviathan Dreadnought. You've move blocking, professional move there, with the Rhino to keep my Leviathan Dreadnought back. So the most it's going to do next turn is perhaps bang into that Rhino before we have hot Leviathan on Leviathan action. Anyway, you're locking down over here. The bikes are zipping around this way because vehicles are never locked in combat and they can shoot down at this unit of Volkite chargers, one of my troops' units, and the Kratos is eyeing them up as well. I think you said off camera you're resigned to the fact that you're not really going to hurt the Grave Wardens.
Correct. Don't rotate it away and fire elsewhere.
Fire everything down at normal troops, which you can absolutely annihilate them as well. The Leviathan as well is getting hit by your Leviathan. This thing moved 12 this time round.
Yep.
And the left gun or the right gun it can see a lot of stuff.
It's got a few options, yep. As do the bikes.
Of course, behind the wall, next to the Kratos, which is dead meat to the Grave Wardens, was a unit of breachers. And they've heard over the Vox that the elite of the Death Guard are coming for them. So they've moved out into the open, which does get them into plasma cannon range from my heavy support team here. But they're caught between a rock and a hard place, or a plasma cannon team and some Grave Wardens hard place as we go into the shooting phase. Heavy guns light up the central street as we start the shooting phase with the Kratos firing into my breacher team.
Ooh,
and that scatters a long way.
That does.
Just Craig, what happened?
It failed.
Step 1 failed. Heavy bolters.
Freeze.
These hit on 3s and wound on 3s. That's pretty good shooting.
4-3.
And you know what? My Artificer Sergeant sees the shots come in after that big HE shell ricocheted off and says, "Get down! Hold the line!" And dies there. And yeah, 2 die. Autocannon comes in as well. The Sergeant. The Sergeant tried to keep him alive. He died horribly.
2 hits. Strip 7. Yeah.
2 wounds. 1 more death. And then 2 last cannons. One of them hits.
2s.
Wounds, 5 up and run for the breacher shield, and I make it. So it only kills 3. The Volkite bikers have a straight shots on them. What are you doing with the Volkite bikers?
They're going to go into a plasma.
Go into the plasma instead. I'm going to shroud this. I like those plasma.
Do you?
I like them still alive.
Effective.
Yeah, I'd like to return fire, but you're out of range. I like the fact that, see, a lot of people with bikers zip forward and they die and say bikers, but because they've got such a lot, you can use them as a support unit, flying around the backfield.
The range, the number of shots of a Volkite just make them a lot more flexible.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's see if you can hit.
Freeze.
On 3s. And he hit 7 times. And you wound on 2s. And you wound 5 times. There is a sergeant in that squad. And because if I lose him, then my leadership drops and I might break. So let's just do 3-up saves. Because I've also got a shrouding save. And I lose one of them.
That look great.
Yes. Maybe I'll lose another one. 3-up. 5-up. I lose 2 as it continues to burn through. That will be a leadership test as well. Now, the Land Raider shooting at the Leviathan, the non-twin linked gun.
Hitting all 3s.
Firing at full ballistic skill. And then the twin linked gun is snap firing because you moved over 6. With a twin linked. Nothing into Leviathan. What are you doing with your Leviathan over here?
It's going to fire at Leviathan.
Or troops? Or
Leviathan.
Leviathan on Leviathan. I've shrouded once, right?
Yep.
So let's return fire. Let's have a Mexican gunslinger standoff in the middle of the battle grid here. You hit on 2s.
Oh.
You wound on 4s. 1 wound. I fail the save, and my Leviathan shoots back at you with his cyclonic metal. He hits more, but doesn't wound at all.
They want the melee.
Then we did a plink from the Rhino up at the plasma team as well. No wounds caused, and now the last thing left to fire are the breachers. They're also firing up at the plasma team.
Freeze. Close. Well.
Only 1 wound. 3-up. I'm okay. That is the end of your shooting phase.
Yep.
The plasma team have a leadership 8 to make. And they hold. So I've got 3 in this team below, 3 in that team above. There isn't any charges.
There are no charges.
Turn 3 and turn 4 were quite quick. We're heading on to turn 5, getting towards the end game now. This battle ends in turn 6. But first, Death Guard turn 4. 5. 1 minute. Got a leadership test on the breachers down there. They hold. We're heading to the end game now. The Death Guard giving up this side of the battle grid and instead pushing on through to the other side. We have a unit still inside this Rhino. The plan is in turn 6, the Rhino moves forward, they get out, they take the central objective, and they pass their leadership test and don't break when you shoot at them with everything, and they take that one. That's plan number 1. Plan number 2, Breacher Squad number 2 is here, and they walk onto this objective, take that one, and then Breacher Squad number 3, which passed their leadership test, have come round this side, and they hopefully walk onto this one, or at least stop you scoring this one. Mind you, it might be worth 0 points anyway. And I get all of the objectives down this side, giving up the objectives on the other side for you, and then we roll off and find out how many points they're worth. Got a couple of plasma teams here, which the only thing they can really fire at is down at the breaches here. They can't hurt anything else. Meanwhile, around here, you put a Rhino in front of the Leviathan, so fine, we'll eat it. And then the Grave Wardens are going to go after the Kratos. We'll eat that too.
It's a dead Kratos.
We start with a Leviathan, shooting a Rhino point blank range on 2s, everything hit. Armor Bane, 1 pen, 2 pen, 3 pen, glance, 4 pen. 4 penetrating hits, no cover. Does it go boom? Oh yes, it goes boom. And when it explodes, it blows up 4 inches, hits my Leviathan, and doesn't wound my Leviathan. Clears the gap for your Leviathan to come charging through and hurt my Leviathan, and the explosion was just a bit too short to hit someone in the command squad over here. I haven't got very much shooting left. It's been quick. The first few turns are absolutely brutal, and the last couple of turns have just been racing by. Now the plasma team, the top team, is going to pour fire down into this squad here.
And I will be shrouding.
Okay, Artificer armor on the Sergeant, and then he's okay. Sorry, the Gets Hot, and his Artificer takes it. And the other 2 were okay. No getting hot. Firing in triple discs down here, if I can hit. Rolling to hit. That'll scatter an inch. I'm happy with that. And that's a hit. And let's re-roll that one with the Nuncio Vox, and that scatters 2. 2s to wound. 4's breach.
4 5-ups?
Yes.
Made 2.
Yeah.
4 3-ups. Made all of them.
Okay.
So
shrouding.
Shrouding.
Yes. You do make all of them. Interesting. See, one of the reasons why I think this has become so cagey is like my second plasma team, because I've got such big guns. You're moving around, so the big guns are negated. I can't shoot the bikes. I'd love to fire in at the command team, but I can't see them through this thing. So plasma team number 2, I get down and have a look. And I really should have moved them because they can't see anything at all. So I guess the Volkite chargers from this breacher team are going to fire in. Volkite chargers for the win on 3s. They're strength 5, so they wound on 3s, and you do have Artificer in that squad if you want to. 5, 6. Of course, that is the eternal danger of lose a sergeant, lose a morale, lose a leadership.
We can do it on 3-ups.
We're going to do it on 3-ups. And that's 3 that get burnt and then deflagrate, causing 3 more wounds. And only 3 die in total, and that
is still enough for a leadership tank.
It is. That's the end of my shooting phase. They hold because you didn't tank it on the Artificer guy. And then the only charge will be these guys into the Kratos. And the Grave Wardens hit the Kratos on 2s with a reroll. 1-6 now, just 1-6. Here we are after the rerolls. And I glanced the Kratos to death. It took 2 rounds, but I got it. And with the super heavy burning, and with the Grave Warden Terminators deep in the Sons of Horus lines, and with the Breachers heading down to try and secure these objectives, we go into Sons of Horus turn 5. In the movement phase, the bikes, the Land Raider holding down this backfield. Remember, there's still a unit inside that Land Raider that in turn 6 can come out and try and score one of these objectives here while the command phase holds on to this. The 2 Leviathans are getting closer to each other. In the backfield, the Breachers stand firm on that objective over there. And we're starting the shooting phase with Volkite on the bikes coming up to the plasma one more time. Again, I'd love to return fire, but I can't, so let's shroud. And hit on 3s. 8 hits. Winning on 2s. We have 6 wounds, and we have 6. Is that the squad? That's the squad with the sergeant in it. Artificer, 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 Artificer. Duck and cover, lads. What?
You really made me want to Lasbat squad off the table at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the Leviathan into a Leviathan first, and it depends on how that looks. They're being lased off.
Well, don't last me off. You lined up your Land Raider to shoot at my Leviathan.
I did, and the Sons of Horus are spiteful, and they've seen a target, and they're set on killing it.
Okay, so your Leviathan's going to shoot my Leviathan.
With 5 shots?
I'm going to do my once per battle Death Guard thing.
Oh.
It gives me a 4 up, feel no pain, and then I'm going to move 7. And you're not going to like it.
No.
5 shots.
Hit on 2s.
2s to hit. 4 hits. 4s to wound, but with armor bane you've got a reroll. So 4s to wound and then reroll because you're in armor bane range for all your shots. And in the end, 4 wounds come through. I have 4 automatic shielding saves of 5 up. Then I have my 4 up feel no pain Death Guard thing, and he takes 3 wounds. He's down to 3 remaining. Then he can move 7 inches in any direction. You want to charge my Leviathan, right?
Come at me.
Yeah? My Leviathan laughs in your general direction and decides to walk down this way because there's an objective there that I can stand on, stop the unit that comes spilling out of that Land Raider from scoring it. See? Tactical, that is.
Death Guard are set in their ways. They see their mission and they march towards it. Why has he changed direction?
That's his objective, to stop those troops from holding down this cross point here. So do you want to las my plasma off now?
Your plan worked? No.
No?
Let's get rid of the Leviathan.
You're going to, okay, shoot everything at the Leviathan.
The twin link shot?
Yes. It hits. The 4 non-twin link shots. We only have 2 hits.
Oh dear.
2 wounds. 1 failed save.
2 wounds
It's
left.
down to 2 wounds remaining. That is the end of the shooting phase. Your Leviathan can still, can I see? Can just about steal my Leviathan if you still want to charge. We got down, double checked. It's a 10-inch charge if you want to do this, so I might as well overwatch you.
Give it a go.
Because you're coming in anyway. These are, nothing's in armor bane anyway, so there is really 4s. I do 3 wounds to you. 3 wounds on the way in. Okay, 2 wounds on the way in, and then it charges 10. Can it make the charge?
No.
That's a 4. The Sons of Horus, Leviathan Dreadnought screams at his ancient brother who's just turned his back on him. As we go on, the Death Guard, turn 6. In my movement phase, the Leviathan Dreadnought stands resolute on this objective here, so the Sons of Horus can't score it unless they get rid of that Leviathan Dreadnought. Behind them, next to the statues, holding the gap, my second squad of breach teams finally got outside of the Rhino. Another squad have made their way through onto this objective here. And then the last squad, we did do the shooting in your turn against breacher on breacher action. You killed 1 of mine.
Yep.
So I've got 6 left, you've got 7 left, and no one currently is scoring this objective here. The idea is to utterly destroy them, get them off of there, and potentially I could score this one too. And 2 turns in a row, I've forgotten to find my big blasts. So we're going to start with the big blasts. Dropping fragmentation rounds, danger close. The Iron Warriors would be proud. I definitely have to re-roll that one. It's going to hit me. That's going to miss everything. And this stuff wounds on 3s. Drop dice don't count with the shred. Like that. 1 hit the floor. Okay, so that many 3 or 2 up saves, however you want to do it. You've got a 6 up save, feel no pain as well because you're in range of an objective.
Let's do 2 ups.
2 ups. Sergeant holding firm there. That's what we pay Artificer for. Okay, so we have the Plasma Squad firing down at them as well.
Shrouding.
No gets hot. Here comes the first shot. It hits. The second shot hits. The third shot scatters a little bit, so let's re-roll that, and that scatters off. 14 hits come through as plasma rains around them, wounding on 2s. 4s breach.
Continue Artificer.
Okay. He's alive, he's alive. These are all the cover save ones.
Fails.
6 up, feel no pain on that because you're in range of an objective. No.
I remember rest.
So those are, yeah, those are 2 5 ups. with a shroud on one of them.
Okay,
so that's 2 dead, and then these are all 3-ups. And you make it. You only lose 2, but 1 is the sergeant. So there is 5 remaining. I want to score that one, and because you walked out into the open, Plasma Squad number 2 have now got line of sight on them. Rolling loads off camera again, no getting hot again. I hit you 10 times.
you did, but
I hit myself 5 times. There was a ricochet. 2s, 4's breach.
first.
Okay, with the
Pain
feeling of the
2.
pain.
2 down.
Right.
5 ups. With
Nice.
the feeling of the pain. No, so
Okay.
3 removed.
There's 2 remaining then, but the ricochet shot. You need a roll for this because I'm not hurting
Certainly
myself. Yeah, 2s, 4's breach. Okay. We got 5s. 2 are dead. And then, no,
That's 3s.
that's the 3. So one of them's okay. These are 5s. Okay, I lose 3. That's enough for both of us to force leadership tests. Now I'm going to have to shoot you with my charges here. This is the last thing that can actually hit this unit and try and get you off this objective. If you hold this, it stops
Is it
me
contested?
getting... Yeah. Volkite. Point blank. 5 of them hit. 3 of them wound. 3-up saves.
1 more removed.
With a feel no pain.
Feel no pain. Come on. 6 up. No.
1 more removed. There's 1 left standing, which remind me, I get a feel no pain as well, because no, they're not tacticals. They don't have Heart of the Legion.
So I've not passed any.
That is the end of the shooting phase, except for some shots with the Dreadnought. I could shoot at your bikes. Let's shoot your bikes with the Dreadnought. The idea is he just stands there. I don't want to charge the Land Raider. I just want to stand there. Dreadnought, shoot your bikes on 2s. And there's no cover, and you can't take cover on anti-grav anyway, so I'll kill on 2s. And that's the end of the Sky Hunters. So we're pushing them back here. We're holding the statues here, and we're trying to take the Precentor's ruins up here. We have leadership tests each to make, and neither of us has a sergeant. So it's leadership 7. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, leadership 7 to hold. You fall back. And I hold. It took a lot of effort, but in the end, I have broken. The Sons of Horus were holding this objective down here, and he's almost fled off the table. And at the end of the game, I'm holding down 3 objectives. No idea how many points they could be worth. They could be 0. They could be 3. There's no charges going on as we head on to Sons of Horus, turn 6, the last actions of the game. So the Loyalist Death Guard are making a break for the Precentor's Palace to meet up with Soul Tarvitz. My Praetor and the Grave Wardens are busy dismantling that Kratos and taking some of the guns off of it to take back to Soul Tarvitz. And the Sons of Horus are holding down this objective, and currently not holding down this objective because the Leviathan's on 2 wounds remaining and denying it. But you've lined up so you can get shots down at my team below the statues.
Yep.
And you're also lining up shots with Leviathan and Land Raider, because I guess the plan is if the Land Raider can kill the Leviathan,
And he
then
goes elsewhere.
your Leviathan could go into that squad. And if Land Raider doesn't kill Leviathan on Leviathan, we might actually see it.
Yep.
Yeah? And I think
You did run away from me.
I know. I look at the tactical
Sorry,
genius.
you bravely repositioned.
I bravely repositioned to take one of the objectives that it's like... See, yeah, because my Praetor told me to, because, you know, who's got the Praetor left? Who's got the Praetor? Yeah. Does it sting?
Lads into a Leviathan.
Sometimes you just need to wait until the wound becomes a scar.
It's not scabbed over yet.
You
No.
miss with the twin link one. The other one hits 3 times. I can't shroud with the Leviathan. There's no point in returning fire.
3 wounds.
It does do 3 wounds. 2 wounds remaining on my Leviathan. If I make this, then... If I don't make this, then I might lose that objective there. I probably am going to lose that objective there. I don't make it. My Leviathan dies. You know what would also be good? A really big explosion, killing a bunch of these, and then they run away. And that's a 3 explosion. It only hits 1. It wounds 1. You fail to save anyway, but it isn't enough to make you break. And therefore your Leviathan can fire at my Breacher team. It's got 2 heavy flamers as well as all the melter. That's 9 with the flamers, and I'm shrouding my tits off. The flamers wound on 3s. 6 3-up saves, plus the shrouding. I lose 1. Then Melter Fire from the Cyclonic Melter Lance and the Melter in the Fist on 2s. 4 hits.
2s to wound. 4 wounds.
5-up Invulnerable save for Breaching Shields. 5-up Shrouding. I've lost 3 in total. That's enough for a leadership test. And I think I'll take the ones from this side. It looks like this, my sergeant screaming, "Hold! Hold!" as the Sons of Horus fired mass reactive rounds down the street on 3s. And a lot of them miss. Probably because we're lit up by flames and hard to get a target on right now. Only 1 wound. 3 up. I make the save. And at the end of that shooting attack, I have a leadership 8 to make. And I hold. And now we need to measure up to find out how far away that Leviathan Dreadnought is. We'll make the charge disordered just in case you get in. I do make the charge disordered. Let's see the charge.
No.
It's a 3. It's a failed charge. The Leviathan doesn't get into combat because there's no way my breaches would be able to kill it.
No.
And you'd stop me scoring that objective there. So at the very end of the game, I get 1 point for Warlord. We get a point for every unit that we kill.
Which is going to be a lot for you.
And we've got to find out how many points these random objectives are worth in this war of lies. Just Craig, tell people the points.
10 to 7.
10 to 6. 10 to 6. I scored 9 things plus Warlord.
Yep.
You killed 6 things.
Yep.
Yes, each of these objectives is worth 0. Well, a 1, 2, 0 points. 3, 4, 1 point. 5, 6, 3 points. There's still a win condition here for the Sons of Horus. Maybe all of this was a lie. This is about to get orbitally nuked.
We have better tactical data.
Exactly, where the Death Guard have retreated to. So just looking for those 5 6s here. And there's 1. So
10 to 9.
10 to 9. Here we go. Oh, it's 10 to 12. You're winning by 2 points. Okay.
You're on 3.
I'm on 3, but if I roll a 1, 2 for all of these objectives, I lose. Okay. Well, I feel like I should do the one next to the statues first, this grand entranceway. It looks,
if any mean anything.
It looks the most important. It definitely shouldn't be a 1 or 2.
13 to 12.
There we go. And the other ones. That's worth no points. But
16 to 12.
You got 6 points on objectives. I got 6 points on objectives. In the end, in this war of lies, it is a victory for the loyalist Death Guard. And this is not the way Isstvan 3 ends. The war grinds on for weeks and weeks, and tens of thousands legionaries died here. What?
The loyalist Death Guard aren't really renowned at the end of a Horus
They're
Heresy,
not, are they?
so we know how the tail ends for them, and the Sons of Horus, well,
Yeah, well, they start painting all their armour black and things.
yes.
And really getting into punk music and goth music and stuff like that. They go a bit, they get a bit strange.
They get a bit abandoned.
Not as strange as those Slaneshi guys, though.
Oh, yeah.
They get very, very strange.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do like War of Lies because you don't know who's won until the very end. And I think the first couple of turns were absolutely brutal, and then it was like
brutal.
Yeah, in the end, we didn't get the Leviathans in, and in the end, that charge, that could have been it.
Yeah.
That failed charge from that Leviathan Dreadnought could have been it. But there's so many clutch moments in Heresy when, I mean, over here, so many clutch moments. How was it for you?
Really enjoyable. As I've already said, turn 1 and 2 felt brutal.
Yeah.
And then it started feeling a bit fairer. I think just for the first 2 turns, bad decisions on my part, but just staring.
I don't know.
Missed positions, but they needed the charge. If they'd got the charge, it would have been different, but I had no answer for Cataphracti by the end.
That's true. If your Justeran had made that charge and killed half of the Grave Wardens and then tied me up there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I did go first, which allowed see my army slow-ish. I mean, it's not super slow because you're not -2 going through terrain. It always surprises me how quick it goes through terrain, like measuring 7, measuring 7,
Yeah.
measuring 7. But if you'd have gone first and the Death Guard were pinned back a bit, I just like War of Lies. It could have gone so many different ways. And in the end, I did have to tactically reposition away from... There's a lot of points sunk into that, and a lot of points sunk into the Leviathan as well, pulling you off and away. Are you thinking about adding anything to your Sons of Horus, or are you deep in the Ultramarines right now?
My Sons of Horus, I'm at just over 6,500 total. I'm not planning on adding anything.
Yeah.
Coming back again, Ultramarines, as per the Heresy, the Ultramarines are coming, Gilliman is coming, and I think we need to see that happen.
I do, and we still haven't done Loyalist Sons of Horus with
I've got
Garvey or
Logan,
Loken
he's
yet.
there, he's ready. We can swing his fan the other way.
We still need to do that one, and you've got a couple more players into the Horus Heresy now, so well done. A couple more random scrubs that you picked up. Like, no, you need to play this game. It's really good fun. See, my mind is that I do get a lot of messages and people telling me like 7th edition was better or 5th edition was better or this. For all the people out there from the older editions who miss some of the old rules, some of the interactions, just play Heresy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It is the best version of the old edition rule set that there is. So thank you for coming down one more time, Just Craig.
Thank you for having
Check
me.
out Just Craig on the Instagram.
Yep.
And I mean, definitely check you out on the Instagram. Lots of lovely pictures on
Thank
there. And in the Discord and stuff like that, if you're in the Discord. But in the end, it was a victory for the Loyalists this day, which I'm really pleased for, because the Death Guard, I mean, this is Garrow's lot, Nathaniel Garrow's guys. Anyway, happy wargaming.